shining a beacon on the bazaar. Here, kid, sun shining.
It is, but fucking binnies are here. Have you seen this shit? I've come outside for some quiet, and fucking binnies are here.
I know, that's it. The binnies only come sort of like once a month to Ireland, but when they turn up, it's like fucking bin men are here.
Oh, it's
coming across off
awful.
boat.
I feel quite violated. I don't like it. It's our space. Look at them, looking at me.
Do you know what gets me about? People always say, they always talk well about bin men, don't they?
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
need bin men. They'll go, oh, they're an essential service at bin men. They're all, we come around. Has anyone else noticed the arrogance of the bin man?
Absolutely think they're king of the road, don't
They do.
I had a boat pulled up wrong. They didn't show up. They just turned around and went off again.
Yeah.
There's a whole fucking jetty.
They just
One boat, a little bit.
They act in this way. I think it's a way of them sort of justifying the job. That it's sort of like it's a pretty, they're treating it. It's almost like, you need us more than we need you.
That's it.
Yeah,
you need me.
Yeah, we're an essential. This is swagger.
Yeah.
The swagger up and down, emptying bins, going, aye, we are wet binnies.
No teeth binnies.
That's it. Well, we're below you, but nothing is below us.
Yeah, but you need our dirty asses.
Yeah, that's it. You need us.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. But the thing is, it's one of these things. It's like you're doing your job, mate.
Yeah.
And I think as well, I'm quite glad the tradition of tipping your binny at Christmas is sort of gone a bit. It used to be, people leave a bit tenner out for bin men.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many jobs that you just don't get a tip. Most jobs don't get a tip at Christmas for anything.
We save lives. We get fuck off.
Yeah, this is it. Nobody tips lighthouse keepers, I
They
think.
don't. Forgotten trade.
Forgotten trade. We are until it comes to crashing your ship, and you think, "Oh, hang about, I'm gonna end up on rocks." And who are you thanking then?
Who are you looking out for?
Yeah, you're not leaving a little tenner under the lighthouse, are you? We're just sitting here, been staring out like a pair of madmen. But regardless of that, the sun is shining. It's a nice day on Ireland.
Oh, they're going anyway now, I skip.
Oh,
all right.
good fuckers.
Jesus
Christ, up the sink.
Yeah, dirty bastards. But it is lovely weather, though.
It's lovely weather, but it's in a weird way, even when it's raining, even when it's snowing, even when it's sunny, it's always lovely weather at Kraken Cove, the podcast that shines a beacon on the bazaar. And I'm Matt.
I'm Benny. Well, shoehorned in there, Skip.
Yeah, that's it. This is part of the joy of actually being at a lighthouse. You just sit back and you just watch the world go by. People come and go, but the lighthouse is almost eternal, like kid.
Yes, very true. The light
always shines out.
Yeah.
And that's what's so nice. A lot of people don't have that freedom, as we told before about people who sort of all trapped in their own little world.
Dirty little offices. We're sat here on the cliff edge, looking at all this beautifulness.
We can go out, and sometimes we can even put some clothes on.
Be ashamed to, though, in this sun.
I know, it's lovely and sunny. Look at you, like a little nut brown body on you there, kid. Right, red belly.
There's a bit of a breeze, though. It's still like a little bit of a nut brown down there.
What I always like, though, is like you never actually tan underneath your titties, do you?
No,
it's always white and pale. Just lift them up again there. Like that sweaty slurp.
Boing. A little haircuts, leave them alone.
I won't say.
Yeah, my nipples are like fucking bin lids, though. Look at them.
But they go right brown, don't they? Like Oreos. Right. Benny's burger nipples.
Like your little peanuts. Come on, crack on. Don't be looking. I'm getting all the shine out.
All right then, Arkid. I think it's time for us to get casting.
Oh, yes.
Right, so what I thought we'd start doing is a little bit of a news roundup to start with, you know what I mean? I didn't want to go everything too sort of dark and pervy or anything like that, but what we're going to do is start with something dark and pervy.
Yeah, I see where this is
going. I think it's something we had to cover, because we're having a bit of a callback now to Katie Price.
Ah. Oh,
all right.
yeah.
So you remember, like Katie Price, she was Jordan, a model, and she's had loads of plastic surgery, and nothing is below her, and she's sort of like she does loads of dirty stuff and things, right? You know, we were laughing our tits off, weren't we, about Jordan and or Katie Price, and then having a big poo on her tummy, weren't we?
Yes,
you
that
know
big
what I mean?
log.
But there's been an incident in the news which I thought we kind of need to cover because this is delving deep into like conspiracy now.
Yeah, it's jet black. Is this one? It's
Yeah,
bad.
and this is a story of the Ukrainian model who's been found at the side of a roadside, absolutely smashed into bits. You know what I mean? She's like a spine broken, hip broken, legs broken, all sorts of stuff. You know, but she's basically been where they found her at a roadside. So it's not they think she's fallen off a building. They think what's happened is she's been trying to flee basically one of these parties, these Dubai sex parties.
Porta Potties or something.
But that's exactly it. They're called a Porta Potty Party, right? Which is horrible in
I was
itself.
going to say, do you want to go pop?
Yeah, but this is the thing. So she's seems like she's gone to one of these parties. Her friends are in the sort of similar industry have warned her about not going to these parties, and she sort of said, "Well, actually, you know, I'm going to go to this particular one." She's gone missing for 8 days.
Yeah, I've heard the Dubai police are saying it's less than what what people are saying, but I don't know about that yet.
What do you mean, lesser injuries? Or?
No, the days missing is less
Right.
than what they're saying, but I don't know. I heard it and I thought, them spouting shite.
Yeah, but even missing for a few days, and then to turn up absolutely smashed in and nearly dead, you know, that warrants further investigation in my book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't really put it together that they fell off a building. I thought they'd done that to her at the party.
Yeah, well, they don't know what they've done at a party for her to warrant fleeing. Because the thing is, this is the thing about these parties. It's like you're almost like signing a bit of a contract sort of thing. You know, you're sort
Do you
of
know
saying,
how much they get?
Oh, I've heard it can be like 50 grand.
Yeah, I've heard 100 grand for some of them.
Yeah, and they're saying that apparently what they'll do like sort of 3 or 4 parties a year top end, and that's the only work they'll do. But by the sounds of things, it almost takes like half a year to recover from one of the parties.
But I've heard the big one is that you could be a beautiful Ukrainian woman, and then you get in touch with these agencies, and they say, right, yeah, you got, because of the visa things, you can spend 3 weeks in Dubai, we fly you to Thailand, then you have 3 weeks there. And all you do is like be a hostess in a bar, look like the bar's full of beautiful women. You know what I mean? But there's a whole tour that they go on, like a year tour around the world, you know what I mean? And they're basically saying that, you've got no money. By the end of this, you've settled for life, a year. But, and this isn't the Porta Potty side of things, like you can sign up for extras, you know what I mean? You just like bump your wage up, you know what I mean?
But I mean, it's what they do at these parties is they're saying is insane. I mean, this is a report from the Independent, and they're saying they're actually equating this to like modern day slavery. Really, what they're doing is because they are being shipped around by agencies, so it is actually
human
sort of
trafficking.
Human trafficking. Although they've kind of signed up to it, But now this last Maria Kovalchuk, 20 years old. She's in, she could die. You know what I mean? She's in a shocking state. But the report on these parties is coming out what actually occurs at some of them. They're thinking it's because it's so secret. There's not an awful lot coming about but they're saying even when they're talking about Epstein, they're thinking his parties, which were absolutely horrible, were this super mega light version of what's going on. These were just sort of like and even people like P Diddy, that like a light version what's actually happening in places like Dubai. I mean, they're saying that people they paid all this money to cut the hair off, knock the teeth out,
I've heard that,
hang them from hooks, and you're just thinking, what the fuck?
It is like super dark, and that ultimate extreme side of things.
Yeah, and this is going on. But there's a whole sort of phalanx of men who are getting off on this kind of mad behaviour.
Fucking violence.
And that's when you sort of look with fresh eyes. I'm going to basically look with fresh eyes at sort of like Katie Price, and she's laying there with a big turd on her tummy, and that images come out, and she's obviously been involved in some way in this scene.
Style of things. You don't know if it's Dubai or England or something, but
it's it was Dubai that happened.
Ah, right.
Yeah, that photo I reckon was taken in Dubai. So it seems like this synthetic fake paradise that's been built in the desert. There's a lot darker things going on. So your little luxury holidays to Dubai, this is a deep dark underbelly of what's actually going on in the world. You know, not nice at all, our kid.
It's not at all. It scares me when you get to that sort of stuff.
And I think as well, if somebody said to you, do you want to come to a Porta Potty Party where you're going to be this sort of like the meat to be handed round.
Oh.
It's a Porta Potty Party. Give it a nicer name.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But there's no nice there, is it, though? At least you're kind of getting a bit of a warning.
I know, well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the red flag, you know, if you've been invited to a Porta, because there's nothing nice about a Porta Potty, Arky.
You know.
I've had, you know, this is part of the thing of me doing events and things.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, you see, you know, I'll be doing an outdoor event for like 3 days, and you've got like between sort of 30 or 40 traders, you've got one Porta Potty.
No, and you're crimping it off it, morning.
It's absurd. Well, the worst thing is, it's not somebody like me. It's the people who stayed overnight and done all this stuff overnight, and what they do, they invariably all get pissed up together.
Oh no!
And they're all like order curries in, or they all buy, or they're all buying street food.
Get me kebab down.
Yeah. So basically, those toilets by the end of it are a disaster zone. It's like you imagine sort of you see these big Indian floods, and then afterwards they're trying to clear it all up. It's like that.
God.
It's vile. So that, and there's a Porta Potty Party for you, you know what I mean? It's like anything could happen.
When I was in Bangkok, they were like trying to bust up a ring, and it basically they had a lot of yabba, which is methamphetamine addicts. You know, once you do a year on that, you can't get off it. I think it's the same in America when you see meth. You know, the meth heads they're very much like that, and they're so addicted to it. But you can get to a point in life where you just think, I've ruined my body. I'm in massive amounts of debt. I'm going to get trouble for my parents now because they're going to climb up the ladder trying to get me debt, you know what I mean? But then you can go to a man and say, yeah, I'll do it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Can you send the funds to my mum and dad, you know,
really?
You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, okay, so when you go, the money's going to go to your mum and dad.
Go dead?
No, someone comes in, then, you know, it's a bit like, well, not Saw, what's the other one? Hostel.
Right.
It's just someone in Bangkok could be that sick that they want to kill someone, and it's basically it's like you're suiciding yourself to put yourself in this man's hands. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
And then, you know what I mean? They'll just kill you. You know, you're left alone in a room and you're dead, and then the money gets sent to your parents. You know
how revolting!
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? I remember reading it was like, what the fuck? I was in Bangkok reading it. I was like,
but weirdly enough, you got your holidays booked.
Oh yeah, which is nice.
Where are you going now, kid?
Well, later on in the year I'm going to Spain, but I've got a little 8-day trip to somewhere else, Skip.
Go on.
Bangkok. Going fucking back,
you're going back to Thailand?
Have to go back.
You have to go back to Thailand.
Have to go back. One more time, Skip. I have to go back one more time.
And is it safe over there?
No.
What's happened recently?
Well, a massive earthquake. There might be in time for aftershock or something.
You will be.
Yeah.
So the thing is, listeners, you're in for a good bit of fun. Now, Ben won't be doing anything vile, but something vile might happen to Ben.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm bringing my recorder. I'm going to try to
That's it. Bring the recorder, do that, and sort of make it as short as possible, the trip there.
Yeah.
Try and come back alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you're going back.
It's my kids, they can't go on their own. I was like, nope, not going, nothing to do with me, whatever, fuck off. And then it was like, oh shit, earthquakes, can't leave my little babies to go on their own. I'm there in a pair of flip-flops and no one is on shore.
What I'd say is for this, I'd go prepared. Don't bring flip-flops.
I know, I've heard the massive thing about tied shoes, you know what I mean? But fuck
tied shoes?
No, tied, your laces. If you've got lace shoes on, your odds of survival are massively.
Yeah. Well, I don't wear flip-flops anyway. I don't wear sandals out. I mean, I see somebody in flip-flops in, like, Leeds City Centre or something. I think, are you an absolute maniac?
No, in Thailand it's different, man. Fuck that. I cannot put shoes on, or sandals, or Crocs, or anything on.
Is it because your feet are so hot and sweaty?
It's just so hot there. You just need to have flip-flops on your car. You just need a pair of shorts, t-shirt. Honestly, it's...
Well, shorts and t-shirts is one thing. It's footwear's everything, mate. Footwear's everything.
I'm just a lucky bastard. That's what I hold on to in life, mate. I mean,
lucky Benny.
Give me 10 minutes, I'll have a fucking pair of shoes on.
Can't you just have a pair with you at all times, ready to sort of slip on? You need like an escape bag with you all time.
Yeah, but it's still, I can't be out dragging it round, you know what I mean? I'll just be pissed up head, that's what I always do, mate.
Wow, well, good luck with that then, Archie.
Yep, at least I'm prepared. No, not am I.
You're not prepared at all.
No. Spin the roulette wheel.
Yeah, that's it. Well, let's spin our own roulette wheel, right?
Yes.
And let's get back onto another news story. Let's get away from that darkness to something a bit more jolly, right?
Yeah, straight into it.
Now, obviously, we sort of we had the hassle last episode with Dachshunds.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had the little sausage dogs and eating their owner, you know what I mean? But this is a better best story about a Dachshund is this one, right? And this is thanks to my mate Ed, or our friend of the show, Ed.
Cheers, Ed.
Yeah, this was absolutely amazing.
Lovely pickles he sends me as well.
Well, he keeps thinking they're going to kill you because they're all so hot, but you just keep...
Mate, I tell you what, they're fucking red hot. I think the first batch kind of fooled me, I could take it. The second batch was like, Jesus Christ.
What's it like coming out the other end?
Not bad, actually. It's that fresh,
Your
you know what I mean?
constitution is insane.
I don't know. I think if you open me up inside, I bet it's a shock to everybody.
It's just a black tunnel from mouth to gut to
ears. Rats and goats in there, working right hard.
Yeah, working away. They're always like sort of high vis and crash out, working away, trying to mince everything down.
Yeah.
But this Dachshund, right, he's gone missing.
Oh dear.
Right, he's gone missing, right? And the thing is, it went missing in 2023. Did this Dachshund, right? On a South Australia island.
Wow.
Right, Kangaroo Island. This Dachshund's gone missing.
That,
yeah. So right, he's only been spotted 16 months later.
No way.
Yeah,
running with a pack.
He's running with a pack.
No, not kangaroos.
Well, he's no.
I thought he'd evolved up or something, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I kind of
like
hoped.
Strong little legs.
Strong little back legs and stuff, but people have sort of seen him, right? And because they said he's not a very outside, rough, tough dog, the owner said. Said she never left my side, right? It's called Valerie.
Oh.
Little dog called Valerie, right? So the owners are Georgia Gardner and Josh Fishlock, right? The dog had sort of like when running off, and you know you get close to your dogs and stuff. Yeah. So the owners, the dog had gone running off, and they'd searched the island for days of tears trying to find it. I thought, oh, this is it. The dog's dead, or something's happened. Dingoes have got my dog.
Yeah.
And no, Valerie's been seen. But the weird thing is, they said the dog's impossible to catch now.
Wow.
The dog's basically gone feral.
Yeah.
It's living
like
wild.
John Rambo of the dog world.
Yeah. That's it. Just got a little knife and a bit of carpet. That's all it's wearing, running around. But I do like to think he's living with, living with the kangaroos there.
Do you see running with the pack? Were he running with the pack, or is he running on his own, just really skillfully, like John Rambo?
He's running on his own, right, skillfully.
Wow,
he's
that's
just
an image, isn't it?
I mean, God only knows what he's eating, or she's eating, what Valerie's eating. They don't know really what they're doing, but they're saying because. And this is a thing with like dogs.
Yeah.
I always came up with a theory. We talked about like writing a book about sort of various things, and one of these things is like what would happen to all the dogs if people weren't looking after the dogs.
Yeah.
And there's all the interbreeding and all this sort of stuff with animals and things like this, and then dogs would become. There wouldn't be Dachshunds, there wouldn't be sort of Schnauzers, there wouldn't be all these various animals. There would be dog.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd breed itself back to where it needs to be.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because all the dogs are just one step away from being this sort of like wild animal.
Yeah, it'd be like some dingo, like a small kind of mutt, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And it'd be just this, like you said, some sort of like some scraggy mutt who's used to living. Did you know 50% of all the dogs in the world are wild? As in all what we consider the domesticated dog, 50% of them are wild.
What do you mean?
Well, they're just out. They don't have an owner. They're breeding with each other. They are creating dog.
Yeah.
Right. And but certain countries have their own sort of dogs. So like they're on the Asian steppe, hunting deer and things like this.
Wow.
And these have been domesticated dogs which have been released and let wild and have formed their own packs.
But in the East, there's a lot of fucking dogs everywhere.
Well, this is it. So, like a place like India or wherever it is,
Thailand,
they're all on rubbish tips. They're all they're not having a great life.
I only got fucking ripped apart in on Phuket. You know what I mean? Because tsunami come 2005. My dopey arse, like I'm doing again. Let's go to a disaster zone straight a year after. Let's go give some money to Phuket, the poor bugger. Still, I'm now thought, that's a bit risky. Anyway, I'm there, but loads of people had died or moved, and they just left all the dogs, and they're like packs of dogs, and that they fucking nearly got ripped up one night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's frightening, mate.
Yeah, but this is the thing, because dogs will revert, so they will go back to being just dog.
Yeah.
And this is what's happened to Valerie. Little Valerie
just
become
dog.
A wild dog, just become dog.
Wow.
And he's out there, she's out there, she's out hunting, she's she's obviously waiting to see if there's any kills to sort of scavenge from.
I want to see what she's eating.
Well, the thing is, they're bred to be like little sort of badger dogs or little ratters and things like this, so there'll be little rodents she'll be catching. She'll probably hunt. If she survives 16 months out there, that's it, Valerie can live.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think that's quite a heartening story.
It is, isn't it? I like that she's out there right now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
She's out there doing it.
My image of Valerie is when it's all like the sun's going down and she's curling up and watching the stars and she's kind of vaguely remembering her owners and things. And would she go back?
Right, what's she, hell, man? She's free.
She's free.
She's free,
you know,
man.
and she might not live to the full lifespan of a normal Dachshund. She might not like get 12 years or something like that, you know. But the years she's alive on the island, she's living the dream.
She is, isn't she? Running about, hunting, fishing.
Oh yeah, that's
swimming.
Fishing. So would a Dachshund fish then?
Yeah, little Ron. What else are you fucking fishing weirdo?
Yeah, obviously, well, that's fair enough. Is that a kid? Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I do like that one. Yeah.
Easy.
So we're going to move on now. Now, this is a bit of a weird one, is this one, but it just made me giggle, right? And it shouldn't have made me giggle, because this is a Suffolk jockey weeps in court after being charged with murder of a pensioner.
Oh, my God.
A jockey has murdered a pensioner.
Little jockey.
So Levi Williams has been outside a pub, the Wagon and Horses, right?
The Weatherspoons by any chance?
Yeah, well, it sounds like it, doesn't it? So this is sort of like Cambridge way or Suffolk, that kind of sort of thing somewhere, right? And the guy, what's happened? They've had an altercation outside a pub, and he's punched this guy. And this guy's gone down and died. He was a 71-year-old Richard Wingrove. Now I don't know what the story is. If you're in a pub at that time and you're having a scuffle with a younger man, then you know I don't want to shed blame on anyone. You know what I mean? But you're just thinking, what the fuck's kicked off here? You know what I mean? I can't imagine this Levi Williams is very big, right?
Exactly, little jockey.
Little jockey. So having a fight outside a pub with a jockey is not a good thing anyway. You know. But when he was convicted in court, everybody was crying. He was crying. It was an absolute ugly scene. You don't want to see young sort of like young and go down, right? They're saying But they're saying his mum was absolutely gutted, you see. Obviously, saying that because, you know, all his hopes and dreams of becoming a jockey, he became a jockey. And she said, Miss Williams said it has been her son's dream to be a jockey since he was knee-high. What, last week?
Oh, bless him.
I can't believe she said that.
Yeah, you're really setting it up, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you just think, oh, come on. I mean, I don't think he'll do right well in prison either.
Well, if you think about his size, he's only little in going in. I know little in everything.
Yeah.
He gets some very hard people being little, but could he continue being a jockey? What kind of jockey could he be inside prison, man?
Well, I think he'd be less of a rider, more of the ridden, to be honest.
Could he be a sausage jockey?
I think he could well be our kid.
At least he doesn't have to leave it all away, all his talents, could he?
Well, I reckon what they'll do is they'll make him bring his little outfit in.
Yeah. And just cut a nice little hole.
Yeah, put your silks on, lad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Get your chaps
and
on.
climb on a dobbin. Oh, it's like an horse's. Aye, but you can manage. Good lad.
Yeah, that's what you get for brawling outside Weatherspoons.
That's what you get for brawling outside Weatherspoons. And another little story here, right, is this is the death of 6 Russian tourists.
Ooh.
Right, but I don't know how it happened, you see, because they've died on a submarine after it sinks.
No. No. There's another tourist submarine shit.
Another tourist submarine's gone down, right? And it's one of these little Red Sea leisure ones, so they don't go down very far.
Yeah.
But I just think to myself, like, 36 Russian tourists die after a submarine sinks. That's what it's meant to do. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it didn't sink, you want your money back.
Yeah, it would have been a bit of a disappointment.
You can't please anyone, can you?
Yeah.
You know. But it's like there was 39 people rescued. It's a 44-seater recreational vessel. All sorts of people were on board, right? You know, there were loads of people struggling in war. They managed to get them all out, apart from these 6 who've died.
How did they die then? These things open? Because you've got sharks there as well, innit?
Yeah, how did they die? How do you think they fucking died? They drowned?
Yeah, true, innit? Yeah.
That's it, but I mean, that's my nightmare. Is, you know, filling with water, you're underwater. There's 39 other people thrashing around trying to get out.
Oh, God.
Absolutely horrible, innit?
Listening to Ice Station Zebra, that's got a load of
really?
really good submarine action in that.
Has it?
Yeah. Really different from film, though. I'm like, really different. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I can't remember it. I can't remember the storyline of it.
Yeah, love the film.
I can't remember it. But another little news roundup here, which is, there's not really much of a story at this one, but I just think it's like come the hour, come the hero sort of thing, you know. There's a hunt for a boy, right, 12 years old, who's gone missing. And he was pulled over on M1 because he'd stolen a BMW X5 towing a luxury caravan.
Aim big, Skip. Aim big.
So this little fucker's been at a holiday site in Thirsk in North Yorkshire. He's snuck on. He's nicked the fucking caravan and BMW X5, so a big luxury 4x4 sort of thing. And he's been stopped on M1. They can't find him.
What?
This kid's gone now. He's legged it. He's gone rogue.
As in, they've stopped the vehicle. They've got the vehicle and caravan back.
Well, I think what happened is I think they'd stopped him. I think they took the kid into custody. I think they bailed him.
Yeah.
And he's just gone.
Jesus.
I mean, who is this kid?
I know.
He's like an arch villain. He's like Blofeld waiting to happen in the future, is this kid?
Oh, that's tight. Imagine turning round, your cat's gone and your caravan's gone.
I know.
And you start your holiday.
But the thing is, what I can't figure is, right, he's nicked him off. Where were they?
They've probably left the keys in. They've gone into our, which
Got it,
side's ours? Let's get a loaf of bread. And
Yeah,
then
come
just
back,
like,
it's all gone.
Yeah.
His 12-year-old legged it. But I mean, the
How
balls
can
on
you
this
leave-
kid.
He's 12, so I missed that. He's 12.
Oh, he's 12.
They only go back to school.
Well, I don't think school's on his agenda, to be honest.
Yeah, it can sound
he's
it,
already
doesn't
sort of like, he's already 12 years old.
Jesus.
He's already progressed, he's already
Yeah.
stepped up, and you're thinking, fuck it, this kid's a one-man crime wave.
I think you need to put him in army or something, train him up or
You
something.
need to
or
do
he's
something, yeah,
he's gonna
special
go against
forces,
us, yeah.
You need to get him to the side of good, don't you?
Exactly, quickly.
But I mean, you just think, Jesus wept, what kind of life? I mean...
He was starting a new life, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He had a nice car,
a nice car, a nice house, he's ready to live, wasn't he? You know? Starting a new life.
He's fleeing a caravan. He's probably on a yacht.
Yeah, that's where he is now. He's on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. He's already progressed onto that. It's like the fucking talented Mr. Ripley. This kid's just an absolute...
Hats off to him. Let's keep it. What's his name? We got a name?
No, because he's only young, you see,
No,
so
that's
they
a
don't
shame.
release the name. But you just have to sort of think to yourself, wow, when I was 12, I didn't have that kind of balls.
Yeah.
The guts on this kid.
Didn't know how to drive. How does he know how to drive?
Well, he obviously did. This is what I wonder, whether he hitched the bloody thing up, when he's there getting caravan or everything like that.
Just high pressure.
Racking all seats forward.
It's not even really warring. Getting windscreen wipers going that. How's the day like today?
Car looks better than he did when they nicked it. He's got it all sorted out.
Driving gloves on.
Yeah, done a full set. Little cap.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
I love him.
I say good luck to him.
Yeah, I do.
I'm very, very impressed by his whole thing, And sort of last of the... we've got a couple of little more of the news roundup here, you know what I mean? Another one on the news roundup, our kid, is again, it's down to dogs, but this time it's a schnauzer. It's a little schnauzer this time, and this is somebody when you have like an emotional support dog.
Yes.
Which I'm a little bit funny with.
I've seen some dodgy ones, yeah.
Yeah, and you sort of think to yourself, how much do you need that thing to go somewhere and do something?
Yeah. How much emotional support does a dog actually do?
Yeah, well...
You can get your tissues, is it?
No. Well, the thing is, for a lot of people, I think it's that thing. They've just got a dog with them, can give it a little tickle. It gives them a bit, it calms them right down because they've got a little doggy with them. I suppose it's better than medication in a lot of ways as an emotional support pet. But why would you inflict your emotional support pet on other people? I think it's all a bit much, But, and as you say, how much you actually rely on this particular animal, So this is in a Florida airport, is this one. The one's called Alison Lawrence, 57, of Kenner, Louisiana. And she turned up. With a little miniature schnauzer called Tywin, right? So little Tywin, right? So she turned up to this airport, and she sort of thought, right, I'm going to flight. This is my emotional support dog and everything like that. I'm going to get this flight to where's she going? Colombia, off to Colombia on jolly holidays. Which I don't know about going to Colombia for your jolly holidays.
If
You know
you
what I mean?
need emotional support, you go to Colombia.
So she turned up and they've sort of said to her, well, actually, we're really sorry. You cannot take this dog on this flight. This is a flight that you can't do this. So she's in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, what to do with the pooch?
What do you do with the pooch? So she sort of nipped off to the bathroom and fucking drowned it. She's drowned it in the toilet. So there's cameras footage of her. So they found the dog drowned in the toilet, right?
Oh, God.
They've looked at the CCTV, so they've seen this woman walk in with her emotional support dog, right? Oh. She's come out without it, washing her hands and sort of go, right, hop on the flight, off we pop, ready to roll.
Where's the dog?
Where's the dog? They've gone in, obviously, they realise it's her that's done it. So she's had an emotional support dog, and she just sort of like, so she's drowned in the toilet, and she dumped it in a bin. You know? But thing is, the mad thing is, she had the companion vest, so it has like, this is my little companion dog. It had the vest, collar, rabies tag, dog travel bag, and a bone-shaped dog tag on it.
Oh,
With Lawrence's name and contact information.
Jesus! She left it in the toilet. She dumped it in bin.
She put it in bin, so she's drowned it in the toilet and dumped it in bin. And you're just thinking, this is your pet dog, and you need a flight. If I had my emotional support dog, right, and I needed to go somewhere, and I had the dog with me, and I'd be like, well, I'm not getting that flight today, then.
Yeah. Oh, you'd check beforehand, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd do a little bit of a checky.
Yeah. Check. You know, you sort it all out first. You wouldn't just rock up with dog, and then when dog's surplus to requirement, drown it in the toilet.
Imagine in 2 buckets. This one, is it?
No, in arcade.
Ain't as easy as having 2 buckets. You literally got your dog.
Back legs.
Yeah, and you're forcing it into cars here, and it's spluttering and bubbling and all that.
Can you imagine what person next door thought?
Like, my God.
Oh, you shouldn't have had that bloody booner.
Comes out with a dog. You shut that. They won't give me real emotional support.
Whining and bubbling and splurting and splashing. Her grunting away.
F of it. That's
absolute insanity, isn't it?
They should be whipped. They should be absolutely whipped and
flogged.
flogged.
It freaks me out. You know, there's people out there who walk in this earth who are like that. You know, and I find that very odd. And the last of our little news roundup today, this is a bit of an odd one, is this one? This is a mystery of a red paint vandalism that's going on across England.
Wow.
So the main sort of hotbed of it is Walthamstow sort of area of London. And what they're finding, like, there's loads of houses just been splashed and splattered with red paint. So they wake up a bit more and there's red paint all over walls in places like this. And they don't know, there's no footage of who's done it, there's no signs of who's done it.
Like if you're shoving a brush into red paint and then
more like if you had a bucket.
And then
or bucket of paint, or a tin of paint and chuck a whole tin of paint.
Wow.
But the other side of things as well is the finding some graffiti is associated with it too. So the daubing numbers on walls. So I've not seen what the numbers are, or what they might mean. But there are also people, the word brothel, Borthel spelt wrong,
right?
Or brothel 3 sort of thing has been daubed on these walls, but as in a sort of like, you know, sort of say your house is a brothel sort of thing. You know?
And any clues if they are brothels?
No, but it's not just Walthamstow. This has been happening now. It's spread to Huddersfield and Bradford.
Weird.
So this is sort of like, I mean,
splashy paint or the brothel word?
Both.
Fucking, that's really
odd.
Odd.
So it's just like this whole thing seems to just been spreading, you know what I mean? It's like, but there's a woman on Chingford Road, it happened to her, right? And she said, it just, nothing wrong with her house, absolutely ordinary person.
Me and all the 10 other girls who live here find it really strange.
That's it, it's very distressing.
We were putting the tub of Johnny's bin in the morning.
The bucket of Johnny's. We're getting rid of all these knobbats, and when we came out in the morning, we just saw like,
awful word.
This awful word. And
fucking first binnies and then knees.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they're the you know, like you get sort of like the flying doctors, not flying binnies at times. The thing is, they haven't caught anybody for it. This has been going on since 2023.
Wow.
So for best wedge of 2 years now, there's been these weird paint attacks everywhere, and nothing's happening. Now, I did a little bit more research into it, and it's happening in a lot more places. It's happening all over. Red paint splashed on houses, usually slightly poorer areas. You know, it's not in sort of like, you know, prestigious houses.
It seems to me like there's some revenge attack or something. You know what I mean? Like someone's digging into. You know what I mean? Like thinking, where are these places? I guess I'm not accusing these poor victims of anything, but
the thing is, it's because it's happening across the country. You know, I mean, they're thinking there's worries that it could be something to do. It could be like from gang-related activity. There's claims that the incidents are related to the war in Gaza. So you don't know, the whole thing's like a muddy mess. They don't know what it's happening, but it's this strange thing that they're not catching anybody.
And then the person's not coming forward and saying, this is my message, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is
it's a labour, isn't it, driving up from there up to Bradford?
Yeah, well,
and
you sort of think it's some sort of community-based crime. You don't know whether it's people sort of talking online and saying we should do this or that or the other, you know, what we need
someone
to do.
else doing it, like, and spreading.
Just like, you know, but the thing is, you know, you'd have thought with a bit of digging and a bit of effort, you've got to go buy red paint.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's buying red paint?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what...
It's a strong colour to buy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a strong colour to buy. You don't, how often are you buying red paint for anything?
I haven't bought red paint.
What's to write that big word brothel in your neighbour's house?
I've done it twice. I painted my front room red with a lovely crimson.
Oh, this is like a blood red, you know, bright red,
Right,
you know.
yeah. I've only bought that once.
Yeah. You know who is you then?
Cellar steps only to look really super spooky.
Are your cellar steps red?
Yeah, blood red.
Fucking hellfire. Only you.
Honestly, it looks like you're going to hell when you go into my cellar. It's hey.
Well, maybe that's all. It's just somebody who's making their hell cellar and they just had a bit of red paint left over.
Yeah,
just got to create a bit of a local vibe.
I can't skip this. I need to get rid of it.
I know. Brothel 3. That'll do it. Yeah. So we want to watch that space, and if anybody knows out there about who could be the red paint attacks, because I quite like. They're not massive out these stories, but they're just a little local oddity.
I do like a local oddity. You've got me right into them at the moment.
Yeah, it's the
really
little
like
things, you know what I mean, which I find interesting. There's been no follow-up, by the way, about all those wet wipes.
To be honest with you, I really want to go there. I keep forgetting to go. Just have a little wander with kids.
Don't bring kids.
The worst than me, honestly. They've been disappointed if they were little spunky towels everywhere.
Oh my god. That's too weird. That's too weird. Anyway,
Yes,
let's move on.
please. Well, good news for Ando Barking.
So one thing I did want to quickly mention on everything, because I didn't want it as like a little news story or anything, is the swirly pattern in the sky that we all saw.
I didn't see. Do you see it live?
I didn't see it. What I saw it travelling across the sky before it went swirly.
Whoa!
So I saw the pre-swirly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to those who don't know, basically what happened all over, so like the north of England, and a lot of England, people saw it in the sky. It was this sort of like, it looked like a star that suddenly started to turn into a weird spiral shape that spread out and spread out and spread out.
I went outside smoking a cigar. I didn't see fuck all.
Yeah, but you were all enshrouded with big cigar smokes.
Yeah, it could have been that.
And it as
I'm
well
all
where
off
you
my
are,
tits.
you're off your tits. And you could have been in the other direction from where your house is, you know, on the side of the house. You know, so, but it's basically, loads of people sort of said this. I mean, somebody put it online very early doors. They put the picture, going, what the holy hell is this?
Yeah.
And I knew straight away what it was.
Musk.
You know, Musk.
I worry, because I heard it were him.
Well, I knew it was anyway, because
dragon rocket.
Yeah, it's one of his big, massive rockets. And basically what happens is at a certain point in the thing, they have what's called a fuel dump. So any unused fuel, to avoid it being an explosive hazard, you dump the fuel. And that, because it's not been burned up, it sits as like a massive vapour. But of course, as rockets, to create stability, they have to twist and turn in the sky. They have to sort of turn in I think they turn in a clockwise direction to turn in.
Yeah.
And as they rotate and go through the sky like that, that's how they go up. And
So that whole spiral was flammable.
yes.
Highly fucking jet fuel flammable.
Yeah. But it was incredibly high up. It was probably a couple of miles up. But it spread out to such an amount and it created such a weird pattern that all people could see was this weird vapour sort of spiral.
And then that all like just comes down and settles all over everybody.
Yeah, but this is the other side of things that we don't really take into account, is that planes do this all the time. If they're coming into land, they dump fuel. We've had it over the Cove.
Yeah.
Where planes have come in a bit heavy on fuel. And they dump the fuel, because to have too much fuel on board when you're landing is a massive explosive hazard. You know what I mean? It's bad enough. You may as well, all it takes is... and also landing heavy is a dangerous well, so they do... I don't think they do it as much anymore now because fuel's so expensive, but it used to be such a common thing that... And we'd sort of come out in the morning and you'd find grease all over your car, like a greasy film over your car.
Fucking hell.
And it was fuel that had been dumped and vaporised.
There's farms round here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And they just do it as a matter. But this is happening everywhere. This is sort of this.
What a fucking pigsty! Fucking honestly, it's winding me up. Musk is winding me up.
Yeah,
and state of shit's winding. He's like the king of all fucking knobheads as well. He's doing my head in his that.
Yeah, he's doing my head as well. He's a little shit, and he shouldn't get the privilege that he does get. You know what I mean?
Do you see any Saturday night? Is it Saturday Night Live sketches they're doing at the moment with all the Trump thing? They've got a really good crew, you know. Someone's Donald Trump. Mike Myers does Musk a lot, you know. He's come back from nowhere, you know what I mean? He's doing Musk, and he's so fucking good at it, you know what I mean?
Where's he been? He were a funny little fucker with Mike Myers.
He were his, but apparently really hard to work with, an absolute bastard, you know.
Really?
What I mean? Yeah, really. But he did have to go, what's that? Austin Powers, and what did he do after that?
I don't know. He did a couple of things, but the thing I found funniest was Wayne's World still.
Yes.
I find it so funny.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we were all like at that age, at that time, and we were all watching it, and he was just like, fucking great, he's one of us.
Yeah, he was so good. The series. You ever see So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Yeah.
That's it. That's such a cosy film.
That is a good film, is that, you know, and of course it's got Kathleen Turner in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is.
When she was in her prime.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Man with two brains.
Oh, don't. Stop it right there.
Finger.
No, man, stop it.
I'm
nutty at him, man. You're going to get a reaction.
Can tear. I like tearing.
Yeah, you got.
I think about that film all the time.
Well, I am now. I'm a half lob.
Look at that. You could run a fucking flag up that. Well, let's cool you off with a story, right, which I know you've been watching, know you've been following, know you love it. We're going to Antarctica.
No.
You don't know about this?
No.
The trapped scientists.
Oh, yeah, with the thing bit. Yeah. Thanks, Ed, again.
Yeah.
It was Alpha's job for us, isn't it?
I already knew this one, so he can take some credit, but not all of it. You know what I mean? We haven't got him as our chief researcher just yet. Yeah, little glitter ball boy, doing all the work for us.
Glitter ball boy. He called me compost boy the other day. Reading it like, that compost. I was like thinking about it, thinking, oh God, that's what.
Yeah, no comeback.
Yeah, no comeback at all. I just had to take it on chin. Yeah, glitter boy.
He has got a new job though.
Has he?
So I did want to congratulate Ed. He's got a new job.
Oh, well done.
He's getting out of the glitter ball business.
Is he? Cool.
He was saying to me online as well. He had the weirdest thought that he might be the premium handmade glitter ball maker in the world, the glitter ball artisan.
Oh wow!
So and he's going out. He's leaving the glitter ball game and he's getting into another business at the moment.
Another gig.
Yeah, another gig. So I just want to wish. That's it. I just want to, from everyone at Kraken Cove, as in me and Ben.
Yeah.
We just want to wish Ed a really good luck with his new job.
Yeah, good luck, Ed. You deserve it, pal. Well done.
If you're up north, you know where we are, mate.
Yeah.
You know. So this is this is further south. We're going to Antarctica rather than the Arctic. So we're going to Antarctica. And I think everybody knows about this story as well because it's absolutely got into the zeitgeist.
It's just the thing in it.
It's the thing, yeah.
Man.
So basically what's happened is it's a group of scientists are trapped in an Antarctic research base. They pleaded to be rescued after claiming a team member's threatened to kill another colleague. The South African scientists are in the Sane 4 Research Centre in Veslekarvet, Queen Maud Land. Now, the South African National Antarctic Programme runs the base, and the South African National Antarctic Expedition operates it. The team is completely blocked off on a base where the typical winter temperature is minus 23. And wind speeds can reach nearly 115 miles an hour. Wow. It's 2,500 miles from South Africa's closest point, meaning there is minimal human contact apart from themselves. Now, if anyone's not actually seen this station, it's actually on top of a cliff.
All right.
It looks like it's on top of a gigantic mountain plateau.
Shit.
So it's high up, it's remote, it's completely isolated, you cannot get to it.
Bricks and concrete still, you know what I mean?
Well, no, because a lot of these research stations, if you actually have a look at these things, they're quite often, I've not had a good look at this one, but some of the platforms are absolutely outstanding. One of the main ones that they use in the Antarctic is, it's like a gigantic space pod.
Wow.
Like a long, sort of almost sausage-shaped space pod with windows. Yeah. But they have them on these great big high stilts.
Yeah.
And they can jack these stilts, and they're on skis. So if the ice starts to crack, they can tow it on massive sleds and skidoos out of the area. I think they can split the thing, so it can split into modules, and each module they can tow away for safety.
That's funny, going back to Ice Station Zebra, in the book it's called Drift Station Zebra.
Is it really?
Yeah, because it's moving about so much, on the broken ice, big chunks of ice it's floating around on.
Well, the way that we used to be made, those were basically like porta cabins, and they were super, super dangerous in a lot of ways as well, and not, but these things, they can warm them, they can keep safe, they're movable. Weirdly enough, though, you look at this sort of model of buildings in that sort of way, I don't see why we don't build, why are we doing bricks and mortar and making buildings that stay in one place. If you move house these days, you can just move house. I think these in Australia they have houses called Queenslanders, I think they're called.
Oh yeah.
And if you sell your house and nobody wants to buy it, you can move the house.
Wow.
They're on stilts, and they have a way of actually jacking them up, putting them on a flatbed and moving them. They're all made of wood.
That's funny.
I saw it at a place where in the desert there's a lot. You can go pick a house off the lot. We'll jack the whole thing up and move it to where you want to move it.
That's
it's great. Yeah, but I'm a lot more for that. Because people say, oh yeah, but I always used to worry because they talked about these houses, and I said, oh well, the thin walls out there, when you're between all the houses. Modern houses you just do anyway. All modern houses, I would just sort of like, listening. You could hear people in next room all the time in modern houses. They're just.
I could burst through.
Yeah, you could burst through.
You could burst through to the next room.
Yeah, that would be funny. Watching you spring through the wall, punch your way through.
Here's Benny.
But these guys, what's happened here at this station? Well, it's guys and gals. These men and women on this station. This guy's completely lost it, apparently, right? And he says,
where's he from then?
Well, he's South African as well.
All right.
So they said, regrettably, his behaviour has escalated to the point that it's deeply disturbing. Specifically, he physically assaulted someone. He's threatened to kill people. He's creating an environment of fear. He's threatened sexual assault.
Whoa.
The guy's completely gone gaga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, he's completely lost it up there, you know what I mean? Now, they do like a rigorous sort of social assessment of people before they go to these places, because that sort of isolation isn't something you can easily sort of quantify. I personally think I'd do really, really well there.
I'd do really, really bad.
Would you?
Yeah. I'd look like I was doing it. I'd be like him. I'd freak out eventually.
Yeah. Well, I think the ideal sort of person to live in these places is somebody who's a mix of both introvert and extrovert, which is what I am. I'm like sort of almost like 50-50, because I love loads of time on my own. I cope very well in social situations. I'm not saying I really, really love social situations. I cope really well in social situations. But I don't need other people to sort of like keep me entertained. As long as I've got like little hobbies and things to entertain me, and I've got like a strict schedule of things I need to do.
I'm alright on all that, but people get on my fucking tits.
Well, they do, but the thing that the pick is these people as well. So you get on with people, everything's fine, and then you sort of say, right, I'm off to my little cabin now, bye. So you don't have like Johnny Needy coming around you all the time, knocking on, going, oh, I'm a bit bored. What are you doing? They're not that kind of people. The people who work on their own. I think a big issue in these places is people building up romantic attachments. That causes massive friction.
Yeah, I bet.
Because
he's being jilted. Or something like that.
Well, there was one of these stations. One guy tried to kill another guy. I think we might have covered it at the Cove. And because the guy who was nearly killed was a very, very, very bad pick. Because he took great pleasure in wandering around and telling people the endings of books.
Oh, you did mention that, yeah.
So this fucking troll was walking. So you only had a limited amount of books to last you through winter and everything. Like, he's going around telling you all endings.
Oh no, that would,
Are you asking to be killed? And if he was killed, and people sort of said, "Oh, it went to a jury," I'd say, "No, that's absolutely justified in those circumstances."
Absolutely fine.
But on the flip side of this one in the Antarctic, though, I think they're fully justified in killing him. I know that sounds horrible.
Or restraining him up. Time to a chair, like fucking smart.
And take his blood.
Yeah, take his blood.
Take his blood to test him, you know. Because you do wonder as well. But now, I'll tell you now, there's been no news from there for 2 weeks.
Wow.
No news reported.
Wow.
So there's a news blackout. I think there's a news blackout on it at the moment. I think they've kept it quiet. I think they've put a lid on it. I think any sort of like talk about it has been fully restricted by the news now.
I think he's fully restricted, isn't he? They must have got together and thought, grab him.
Yeah, I think that's what they've done. I think they've probably stripped out one room, storage room, and they've just sat him in there, and he's sat there.
I'm ready to come out now. I'm really ready to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
You building a spaceship in there.
Yeah.
That's such a good fucking scene, man. It still shocks me now. It was like blank out, like, what
You
the
forget
fuck?
about that bit, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's mad. It's still. I'm going to watch it the other.
It's such a good film, man.
It is so good.
Yeah.
But it's one of these things that it just everybody is straight away all at the same time. We're all triggered. We're all sort of thinking, holy shit! It's the thing.
What was it? Is the thing?
Well, weirdly enough, when you talk about the thing, what you have to remember is they're taking huge core samples down deep into the ice. And what they are finding in these core samples is bacteria from tens and tens and tens of thousands of years ago.
Dinosaur
Yeah, exactly. So they're finding things, and even sometimes they've found thousands of years old things like pollen seeds and plants, which they've planted and regrown.
Jesus.
So this is seeds that sat. So this is
Jurassic shit.
Yes. Well, they're not 10,000,
Well, I'm
20,000.
saying it sounds
talking
cool.
Mammoth era.
All right,
yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That sort of like
Yeah.
Ice Age eras. You do wonder how, if say for example, if they found a seed trapped in amber, whether that seed that's sort of 40, 50, 60 million years old, whether there's any chance of something happening with that.
Yeah.
But the reality is, even something that's lasted 10, 20,000 years, that's still insane for something
went
to be...
for a reason, didn't it?
Well, it's also the idea that it's still alive. It's technically still alive after all that time.
God.
So, which I think is pretty wild, really. Yeah. And as you say, certain things have happened and changed. But if you're digging things up, these core samples, anything could be in it. It could be the case that, rather than being this mad alien that transforms it could be something like we said before with cordyceps, the mushroom that infects the mind and makes them change. There could be something...
T-Rex clap. Get that all of your arms. You fucking know about it, then, wouldn't you?
Arms go right little. No! Growing a tail. You're just like, I can't wank anymore.
And it's all green.
So I don't think they really know what they're going to do. I'm actually certain that they're doing something about it, but keeping it quiet. Because if there was a rescue mission...
Take a while, wouldn't it?
It'd take a while and also might not be successful. So it might end in tears. Shit. So they're just sort of thinking, right, let's just keep a hat on all this. Let's keep it all under wraps. Let's not... Yeah, I'm sure people are still trying to find out the news of what's occurring. But the reality is nobody knows just now. 2 weeks without news from the Antarctic
Well, let's
station.
keep a finger on the pulse on this one, Skip.
But what we could do, but what happens if there's no news? What happens if we never find out? What happens if they go to that station, it's gone?
Oh my God.
And all you can see is sort of like these little scorch marks from where something's gone up.
Then you find out bodies, they've all got little hands.
Oh, no, T-Rex clap! You silly bollock. So I'm a great believer that heroes come in different guises.
Yes,
so it's like I think there's something to the hero and the 12-year-old boy who nicked the caravan. There's something about that which I just think is a bit of anarchy. And I think that's where my favourite heroes are. Sort of like it's people who are a bit wild, a bit anarchistic. You know what I mean? They do things which you just sort of think, bloody hell, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I like that.
So now we're going to go on to a flight. We're on the JetBlue flight 1052 from JFK Airport.
I love it already.
Right, August the 9th, 2010. What occurred was that the flight was taxiing to a stop near the terminal gate, right? So Jet Flight 1052 has just landed at the airport, JFK, right? It's from Pittsburgh International. The operating aircraft on that day was Embraer 190, registered as N274JB, and nicknamed Good, Better, Blue. So each one of these planes had their own little sort of like call signs and names, It was carrying approximately 100 passengers and 4 crew. What happened on the flight? It was taxiing to the stop near the terminal gate. Despite repeated reminders to remain seated, one passenger refused to comply. They kept getting up, trying to get the bag, unclipping the seatbelt, all this sort of stuff.
Always one knobhead in there.
Always one knobhead, right? So despite repeated reminders to remain seated, one passenger refused to comply. They kept getting up, they kept opening the overhead compartment, they kept trying to sort stuff out and get the bags and things like this. They're meant to be still have a seatbelt on, right? Veteran flight attendant Stephen Slater was on the case.
Stephen Slater.
Stephen Slater was on the case. He politely kept saying to her, no, you've got to sit down, please sit down, you know what I mean, everything like that, trying to keep control of everything. The passenger refused to. She kept getting up, messing about, kept sort of like, going against all the rules, Apparently the conversation became slightly heated, right? What happened next is that Stephen Slater says that the woman then hit him with her bag as the conversation turned contentious. And when Slater asked the passenger for an apology, he was allegedly met with several strings of vulgarities from her instead. Right? He'd eventually just sort of like, this is it. He's dealt with everything. He's seen everything on these flights. This woman hitting him and then swearing at him, enough was enough for Stephen Slater.
Gonna take her down.
After receiving the alleged profanities from the female passenger on the flight, Slater picked up the intercom and uttered his own string of expletives over the tannoy system. As he mentioned, "I've been in this business for 20 years, and that's it. I've had it. I'm done."
Oh shit, here we go, falling down, baby.
Once finished, he pulled the lever to activate the emergency evacuation chute.
Wow.
Door pops open, the inflatable chute goes down. Slater grabbed 2 cans of beers from the beverage car and launched himself out of the aircraft.
Grabbing a couple of juices away.
He gets a couple of cold ones and launches himself out. He were out of there.
Wow.
He launched himself.
I can see sun coming down, you know what I mean? And then him shooting out with 2 beers, just gets up and just walks. Just, pops one, just walks.
That's exactly it.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, so you're all sat there in your seats, you're looking at this happening thinking, holy shit, right? Then you hear a slight kerfuffle. Stephen Slater scrambled back up the hatch, right?
Yeah?
He'd forgotten his bag.
Oh no! But he managed to get back up there.
He scrambled his way back up, grabbed his bags and... Sorry, just got something. Back down the chute with his bags.
You should have got 2 more beers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he should have burst it back. When you smack it against your own head to burst it open. Crack, smack down.
Yeah.
Because he needed something to get his dignity back there.
Crack it on her head. Yeah.
That's it.
Or put it in her mouth.
Crunch it down. Or you just open it in the face. Shake it, pop it, fizz it.
And I took her down with me. You know what I mean? Don't shoot.
So he did lose a little bit of dignity in my book, did Stephen
I'm more
Slater.
impressed that he got back up that thing.
It must have taken him ages.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you see, so he was charged with this crime with Stephen Slater.
That's a shame he's out though. You push a man to the edge.
Yeah, apparently the whole thing of popping that slide, 25,000 quid it cost to do that and reactivate and reload it. So he did that, but at the same time, I just think, fucking go, Stephen Slater, go. He should have left the bags. He should have gone without. He should have just walked across the
That's
tarmac.
so super cool.
He should have pulled off his tie and thrown it down. He should have just walked off into it. He should have pulled from his top pocket a pair of aviators and put them on.
Yeah.
Top Gun music playing in the background as he walks away from it.
Oh, love it.
And I just loved that. Somebody who eventually says, fuck you, I've had enough.
Yeah, this is it.
Beers, slide.
Tells everybody on plane.
Yeah,
say,
fuck you, everyone. I'm done. That's the way to check out.
It is, isn't it? Shame you have to scramble back up. That
I know, that's it. Yeah. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to hear how you left your job when you worked in the airport industry.
Well, the closest I've got to that, we used to work on the runway first, and we changed buildings. And it was
so this is true. Ben did used to work at Leeds Bradford Airport.
Or about 16, 17 or something.
What was your job?
So basically, all the canisters that go on the plane, the whole place were really superstar and scientific. It was like full of fridges, and people put food, meals into the canisters.
When you say canister, there's a big square thing.
Yeah, the trolley dolly bit, up and down plane. I wasn't that technically minded, so I were in the garbage dump. You know what I mean? I were in the dishwasher.
One step up from the compost, are
Exactly, yeah. Or a trolley humper or whatever they call them. But basically, the trolleys used to come off the plane and they'd be in any state, you know what I mean? It were up to me to tackle them, you know what I mean? They had proper equipment, man, sprays, everything, you know what I mean? But the first one was, with that job, is like you tease that door open, you know what I mean? Because you could either have it all fall out on you, which I didn't give a shit, you just squirted it all down there. But you wanted the pristine ones, you open it up. No one wanted chicken that flight, you know what I mean? You're like, you know, if someone
was chicken on dinner then?
Well, you know, if they were like something like really yummy, like beef, and someone didn't want the chicken, you could have a whole passenger list that didn't want the chicken, or didn't want the beef, or didn't want something. So you'd have a pristine one. You know what I mean?
What do you do with that?
Oh, we fucking drank alt wine, gobbled alt food, or off me tits half the time. Underage drinking at work.
Magical.
Oh, it was
That's where I started underage drinking.
Yeah, isn't it? They're really good times. But then we kind of got to the point, like, this shop's a bit shit. The shifts was shit. I couldn't get to airport. I had to walk about 3 miles to get there and that. And I was talking to my mate, I'm like, you know what, Friday payday, cash in paw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done, mate, I'm going to walk to airport and spend all my money in bar, still underage, you know what I mean? And kids said, I've done as well, and we're like, I said, how are we going to do it, Ben? I'm like, I've got an idea, because we're literally head to toe in protective outfits, big like, what's it called,
like plastic, so like hazmat suits.
Yeah, basically a hazmat suit, blue hazmat suit, hairnet, face mask, gloves, weird booties that you put round your feet and all that sort of stuff. And I said, I've got an idea. Let's just get all of your kit off and that, which he did. And then we laid it down on the floor in these really weird positions, like we'd been zapped by a ray gun and something like that, and disappeared. So we sneaked out back, jumped down this trolley bay, you know, like where a van can pull up.
Like a loading bay.
Yeah, jumped out of there, snuck out the gates, and we ran off to fucking Boozing Airport. And I don't know what happened after that. Whoever was in that door were just basically like, where's Ben and Dave gone? You know what I mean?
They just found these shapes on the floor, and you would never appeared again.
Yeah, never appeared again.
Did you ever hear from the airport?
No, but we just completely disappeared, like we'd been ray gunned.
I like to think somebody, like a manager, came in with a clipboard and saw that, and looked at that, and then looked at the sky, and looked back down at the two and said, oh, thank fuck them two have gone.
My dream has come true. I wish Ben and Dave would just disappear. Pissed up with us. I read carnage in there, because we used to have to mop up at the end, so I was last one out on a late shift, and you just had all them fridges full of food, man. Massive shrimps and all the sandwiches you used to make there. Mopping the floor, literally clutching the mop with my arse, eating a big sandwich.
I bet you really like about 150 quid worth of food and drink.
I really did it in.
You absolutely caned it. But you've always been like that with your jobs, haven't you? You've always come up smelling roses in one way or another. You know, the pay's never been good. There's always some little perk.
Yeah, there's perks. There's nice perks. I like.
Yeah, you like perks. These people are easily motivated by a perk. I'm easily motivated by cold hard cash, generally speaking. You know what I mean?
You're clever,
I don't have it for long. Well, thanks for sharing that story.
It's a pleasure. Anytime, Skip. I'll tell you what, Skip, it was lovely. I right enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's a bit lighter, isn't it? I think it's a nice one. I say lighter.
Oh, what's the last story?
No, we're all right. Yeah. We're all right. I mean, we've covered some dark stuff, but I think we've pulled it round.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah, we've been to
Dubai Porta Potties.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait a minute. Just been like, we've just been laughing at it all.
We just mocked it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I think the thing is, if you can't laugh while the world burns, what can you laugh at?
Yeah, true. Give me a fucking fiddle.
Okay, Nero. So I think one thing I've been promising to do for a little while is I wanted to finish on a cryptid.
Oh, nice.
So this is the fun thing about this is we're going to go to 1915.
Wow.
We are going to World War One.
Oh, shit.
We're going to the British steamer, the Iberian. carrying
steamship.
A steamship, steamship, right. It's going across the North Atlantic, right?
Yep.
So it's on the North Atlantic. It's full of a vital and essential cargo. It's this shit, you know. These are stormy waters. This is a sort of tough place. The North Atlantic was always known as a really, really tough place for shipping. Always really, really difficult. And, you know, during World War II, it was well known as the hunting ground of the wolf packs. The U-boats.
I've got to say, I always thought it was Second World War, but First World War. Have you ever read the Diary of a U-boat Captain? That's fucking good. That's First World War one, very good.
I think World War II one, which I can highly recommend, is called Run Silent, Run Deep.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really good book, is that, you know. But the best, obviously, the very best book is Das Boot. Have you read Das Boot?
Yeah, I listened to an audio.
It's just
my
incredible.
bath times have been absolute heaven for this year.
It's a Das Boot, absolutely fantastic. But we are in World War One. We're in World War One, and the British steamer's going across the Iberian. It's on the sea. It's really sort of struggling across there, you know. Yeah. But what should happen? Periscope comes up.
Oh dear.
Boop. Boop. Oh. Boop. They didn't have sonar then. But one thing I will add is that the U-boat captains of World War One are insanely brave people, because these were 1915. This machine to travel underwater, big diesel engines chugging away.
It's frightening that they can do it.
The battery technology wasn't really there. Everything about it was an insanely dangerous way to go about living if you were going to live for very long. This particular U-boat, U-boat 28, U-boat 28, it was commanded by Freiherr George G. von Forstner.
Well, it had to be, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it. This is.
But he had a tash and a half.
Yeah, I bet he did. No, I imagine him in a roll neck and just like a steely gaze.
Yeah. Oh, one of them Nazis.
Yeah, that's it. Steely gaze. Always wants to shave every day, sort of thing. You know what
Twice
I mean?
a day, sometimes.
Scar down his face. Yeah. He's got the peak cap on.
Yeah. He's eyes so blue, they're not nice.
Yeah, like that's it. Like chips of glass stuck in his cold eyes. And from his logbook, this is from his logbook. On July 30th, 1915, our U-boat U-28 torpedoed the British steamer Iberian, which was carrying a rich cargo across the North Atlantic. The steamer sank so swiftly that its bow stuck up almost vertically into the air. So if you imagine like the Titanic, how that went down. Moments later, the hull of the Iberian disappeared. The wreckage remained beneath the water for approximately 25 seconds at a depth that was clearly impossible to assess, when suddenly there was a violent explosion which shot pieces of debris, among them a gigantic aquatic animal, out of the water to a height of approximately 80 feet.
What the fuck?
A giant monster was fired 80 feet out of the water by the explosion of the ship.
This.
At that moment, I had with me in the conning tower 6 of my officers on the watch, including the chief engineer, the navigator, and the helmsman.
Can I just pause there? So they're up in, the submarine's not underwater, they've come up, they're in that bit at the top, aren't they?
That's exactly it. So basically what's happened is they'll have torpedoed, they'll have hit. So these U-boats at the time, they can't stay down for that long. They can't just stay underwater for like days on end. They have to come up
once
and
they've done the
fresh
job,
air.
it's a norm by all books I've been reading about submarines to come up and view what's going on.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Even sometimes it was part of the sort of maritime law that they would take on any survivors and things like this.
Oh,
the
evil ones and mow them all down in the water.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. So it's all a bit naughty, things like that. So what they do is they came up to the conning tower then to view what was actually happening.
And one last one for me. Jesus Christ, they're good at looking. When they're on that bit, they're super highly skilled and organised about what they're watching. And
also the binoculars that they have with them at that time are some of the finest on the planet.
Oh, right.
They're incredible. The optics that they used at the time are really, 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 really good, and they've continued to be good. The same ones.
Men that don't make mistakes.
Yeah, well, I've actually got some of those same Swiss optics that I use for liner cutting. I use these lenses that I use.
Oh, you fucking would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course I would. It's a bright company. At that moment, I had with me in the conning tower 6 of my officers of the watch, including the chief engineer, the navigator, and the helmsman. Simultaneously, we all drew one another's attention to this wonder of the seas, which was writhing and struggling amongst the debris. We were unable to identify the creature, but all of us agreed that it resembled an aquatic crocodile which was about 60 feet long.
Wow.
With 4 limbs resembling large web feet, a long pointed tail, and a head which also tapered to a point. Unfortunately, we were not able to take a photograph, for the animal sank out of sight after 10 or 15 seconds.
Wow.
One important thing to note about this encounter is the manner in which the captain recorded it. In general, submarine captains are not known to be prone to exaggeration, leading some to believe that he would not detail such an encounter in any other way but as it happened. Also, there would be absolutely no reason to concoct such a fantastic story, knowing, as we all do, that the majority of people who report strange encounters are generally looked upon as crazy and met with only ridicule. You know, so this is the thing. He's a sensible guy. He's a straight under sort of solid character, you know. Yeah. So the creature, especially for my money, that it was most resembled is someone called a mosasaur. Could have been like a pliosaur or a mosasaur, which basically does look like a vast crocodile with like a webbed fin on either corner.
From our era or more dinosaur eras? Are they still about now?
Or dinosaur eras.
Wow.
Yeah, these are not. These are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
What he's describing there is perfectly describing a dinosaur. Probably before. I mean, you know me. I love my dinosaurs and things like this. You know, I always knew the plesiosaur and stuff like that, and certain pliosaurs. But certainly these gigantic predatory ones, which didn't have a long neck, which will look like a crocodile. I only kind of knew about in the last 30 years or so.
Wow.
I didn't really know about them when I was a lot younger. When I was studying these books, the aquatic ones were the ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs. They were very much well recorded. But some of these other larger ones. In fact, the head of one was just recovered in the last 10 years or so from the beach, from a cliff site. There's actually a really good documentary about it with Attenborough, where they recover the head of one of these creatures. And it does look like just a massive crocodile, but instead of legs, it's got like a fin on each corner. Travel at huge speed, and they are massive.
What? Didn't the one off East Coast that were found?
Oh yeah.
No, not fan, but I think Filey or something.
Yeah, it could have been Filey. There's a lot of fossil beds around those areas. There's a very good chance that sort of thing could be found along there. You know what I mean? So basically, that was the account. 60-foot aquatic creature spotted, seen by a U-boat.
And it got flung out of the sea. That's the funniest bit. Then it lands and it starts fucking about and all debris snapping away and that.
Yeah, thrashing probably in its death throes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining. You know, the impact, the shock of the explosion will have probably been. I mean, the fact that it's not actually straight dead. Shows it was a big, tough, strong, muscular creature, but that will have wiped it out. But it's such a good account.
That's cool.
That is your. I mean, not necessarily sea serpent, but a sea beast of some kind.
Those were like high Brazil and all them kind of tales with big sea beasts. And you can't beat a sea beast.
You can't beat a sea beast.
Yeah. What will they say on maps? Beasts lie here. Or
here there be dragons.
Yeah. That's cool as shit.
Yeah. So basically, if anything, that's the thing what we're talking about with the North Atlantic. You know, there's creatures, there's things under the ice, there's things that sort of in those remote oceans which are surfacing, which probably even to some people, if it's coming up for air, might sort of think, oh, there's a whale. People might just think they're seeing whales all the time, because everybody always says about sort of sea creatures, they say, well, you know, why have they not caught them, why have they not seen them, why have they, you know, blah blah blah. Admit in the last 100 odd years they might have wiped them all out by the fact that we've overfished and the food stocks out there for them. But there's still some in those remote areas. If you look at the size of the sea,
fucking massive.
Yeah, this is it.
We don't know about it.
Well, we always look at like the maps and stuff. If you turn around the map and you're looking at just the Pacific, you can almost see no land on the globe.
Wow.
The whole one side looked from the other side is just sea.
Wow.
You know, weird thing is as well, it's like one thing, just as another little snippet for like our sort of misjudging of how the world is.
Yeah.
How many people live in the northern hemisphere of the world, and how many people, as in percentages, in the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere?
I'm going to say 65% in the north.
And how many in the south?
So that's 35%. Fuck you. Not that bad.
It's 90% of the world population lives in the north. 10% lives in the south.
Shit, what? There's China down there and
not.
Stuff. Oh, is that not?
Yeah.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
But we don't see it because when we look at the globe, we just do not look at it like that.
It's such a disoriented globe.
Yeah, it's like, where's Japan? Southern or northern hemisphere?
Southern?
Northern.
No way.
Yes.
Eh? Oh, yeah. I can see it now.
Yeah, because we're not looking at it the right way when we're looking at the globe. You know, we're just
it's
not
so tucked up in it. Actually, when you look at it, the northern bit, there's a lot going on, isn't there?
You know, this is the reality of it. It's,
wow,
it's
90%.
90%. It's mad, you know. But the reason I sort of go down on the... No, that's not the right... I double down on this sort of thing is because we're not viewing the world in the way we should.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the size of Africa. People, you know, in all the maps, Africa looks tiny next to America. And Africa, you can put America into Africa and still have space to, you know, rattle around. Africa is vast.
Have we ever covered that one? Sorry, we're babbling on the end. But there's an artist that got this indestructible machine he made with solar panels on it and like self-cleaning solar panels. And he's put it in the desert of Africa somewhere, and all it does is play, you know that song, In Africa,
really?
On repeat.
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's just out there all the time playing that song.
Well, there's a little job for you for the next episode, Arcade. Find out what's happened to that.
Actually find out what the story is. Yes, I will do that.
Arcade. Get yourself on TikTok and get all things.
Get all juices.
Yeah, get all juices, Arcade. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so this is the thing. So this is one of the most compelling stories of a sea beast, I think, because it's of the modern era. All right, it's 110 years ago that this occurred, but it's still of the modern era. Was fully observed by 6 people. It was during a military campaign where people will look at strange things happen.
They're not going to make that shit up. They're really not.
I don't think they are.
Shit up.
So that is one of the most compelling sort of accounts of sea beasts to go. So I thought that's why I'd finish on a cryptid.
On a sea beast too. That's my favourite cryptid.
But here we are on the cliffs. We're looking out now over the sea and stuff. There's only one sea beast I can see. And he's popping out your crotch. I think
you can go tame this beast somewhere.
I think what you need to do is nip up to the lighthouse and sort that thing out. Polish the lens, that kid.
Yeah, I'm off a trot.
yeah, put it away. It's horrible. It's winking at me. So all that's remained for me to say now is a big bye-bye from Matt.
And it's a wanky goodbye from Benny. You take care, guys, but I'm going to take care of this beast.
There are 3 ways you may contact Kraken Cove. Either by email at krakencovepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter @Kraken Cove, or Instagram @Kraken Cove Pod. Ha ha!